All right, let's talk about a major headache for anyone running a consultancy or an agency, the proposal process. It can be a total mess, right? Well, today we're diving into a tool called Cliently that claims it can take all that sales chaos and turn it into a smooth, repeatable engine for growth.
So let's just start with the question, and be honest with yourself. How much of your valuable time gets sucked into manually creating proposals? Starting from scratch every single time, writing, tweaking the formatting, and just guessing at what's going to land with the client. Those hours add up fast.
Now here's the big promise from Cliently. Imagine going from a discovery call to having a polished, client-ready deck in your hands in just a matter of minutes. That sounds almost too good to be true, so let's break down exactly how they say it works.
First, we got to put a name to the problem. Let's call it the proposal bottleneck. This is that moment you know all too well. You have a fantastic call, everyone's excited, the momentum is there, and then it just hits a wall, because now you have to go do all that slow, manual proposal work.
And this slide, this should look painfully familiar. This is the old way. You're constantly reinventing the wheel for every single client. You're relying on pure founder hustle, which really just means you're doing all the manual writing yourself. Your pricing feels like you're throwing a dart at a board, and your pipeline is totally fragile because it's built on referrals that you can't predict. Honestly, it's an exhausting way to run a business.
So, the big question is, how do you break that cycle? Well, the solution being proposed here is an AI automation engine. It's designed to go straight after that bottleneck we just talked about and just smash it.
So what exactly is Cliently? At its core, it's an AI-powered engine that does two huge things. First, it takes your call notes and transcripts and magically turns them into proposals that are focused on ROI. But second, and this is the really strategic part, it helps you build a repeatable go-to-market or GTM system.
Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but what does this actually look like in practice? Let's walk through the journey step by step, from a simple conversation to a finished proposal, so you can see how it all comes together.
It's actually a super simple 5-step process. You start by just uploading a call transcript, or heck, even your own messy notes. Then the AI gets to work. It reads through everything and pulls out the really crucial pain points and opportunities. Now, step 3 is where the magic happens. Something called the ROI framing engine calculates the potential financial value of solving those problems. From there, boom, a client-ready deck is generated automatically. All you have to do is give it a quick review, add your branding, and send it off.
And what's really wild is how smart this AI is. It's not just looking for generic buzzwords. In one of the examples, it scans a transcript and zeroes in on a super specific and very expensive problem: manual invoice approval delays. Now, you might have caught that eventually, but the AI finds it instantly.
But it doesn't just stop at finding the problem. It puts a number on it. From that one little phrase about invoice delays, the ROI engine calculates a potential annual saving of £180,000. Think about that. This completely reframes your proposal. It's no longer about what your services cost. It's about a massive, tangible financial win for the client.
Okay, so let's zoom out a little and see how this fits into the bigger picture. Cliently isn't just a proposal tool. Its real value is built on 3 pillars that completely change your entire approach to sales.
I mean, this chart says it all, right? The difference is like night and day. You go from the old way, all that manual work, the pricing guesswork, the unpredictable pipeline, to the Cliently way: automated proposals in minutes, ROI-backed pricing, and a predictable, repeatable GTM engine. We've talked about automation, so let's dig into that second pillar: pricing.
This leads to a really powerful concept called value-tied pricing. What this means is you stop pulling your prices out of thin air or just charging by the hour. Instead, your fee is anchored directly to the measurable financial impact you can deliver. And it's all based on the client's own data that they gave you on that first call.
And the results of this shift? Well, users are apparently seeing a 40% reduction in pricing objections. And it makes perfect sense, right? You're no longer on the defensive, trying to justify your cost. Instead, you're just showing them their return on investment. The conversation flips from, "Why are you so expensive?" to, "Wow, how quickly can we get started and capture that value?"
Here's a little peek under the hood at how the AI thinks. It scans conversations for what it calls pain signals, little phrases like "manual reporting takes too long." Then it quantifies the potential ROI for fixing that pain and even assigns a priority level. This lets you build a business case that's instantly focused on the biggest, most valuable opportunities.
Okay, and that brings us to the final, and I'd argue the most strategic benefit of all: This is where you take all these individual wins and you build them into something that lasts, a repeatable go-to-market system. So how do you actually build this engine? Well, you start standardizing your best proposals into a library, so you're never starting from a blank page again. You use the AI insights to personalize your outreach, but at scale, and you centralize everything. Proposals, client personas, ROI reports in one place, so you can track a client's journey from that very first call all the way to expansion projects.
And when you build this engine, the outcomes are pretty staggering. We're talking about creating proposals 70% faster, which is a huge efficiency win. But even more important is that you build a pipeline that is 3 times more predictable. That right there is the difference between having a freelance hustle and a truly scalable business.
And you don't have to take my word for it. This quote from Sarah Chen, a fractional COO, just nails it. She says, "I finally stopped reinventing the wheel. Every proposal now builds on the last." That's the whole idea in a nutshell. You're turning every single sale into an asset that makes your entire process smarter over time.
So, if you remember one thing from this, let it be this. The crucial shift here is that you're no longer just creating one-off, disposable documents. You are building a permanent library of winning assets. Every proposal, every ROI calculation, it all becomes part of your GTM engine, ready to be used for the next big opportunity. And that really leaves us with one final question for you to think about. When you look at your own process right now, with all the manual work and the unpredictable pipeline, are you ready to turn that fragile way of selling into a truly repeatable engine? It's a powerful thought. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.